Hello everybody, this is Warrior Dan, and today I want to talk about the treasure trove of questionable quality games, otherwise known as the Steam Early Access program. Specifically, one game that has been a thorn in my side for far too long now, and just like any thorn, it needs to be dealt with. Today we are talking about Bigfoot, or more specifically, finding Bigfoot. With YouTube constantly reworking their algorithms to favor bigger channels, it can be hard to stay up to date with what smaller content creators are up to. Hit that subscriptions button and hit that notifications bell if you want YouTube to actually tell you when I upload new content to my channel. I try to make these videos in order to spark a larger conversation, so please hit those buttons and join this growing community. Okay, that said, in the eloquent words of one Philip DeFranco, let's just jump right into today's video. All of you who are watching this probably know the mythical creature Bigfoot, a giant half-gorilla, half-human hybrid that resembles Chewbacca from Star Wars and has a habit of aimlessly walking around from forest to forest in the United States and Canada, always conveniently just out of view of a camera lens, resulting in him always showing up as a blurry figure in the background. On January 30th, 2017, a small Ukrainian game developer by the name of Cyberlight decided to release an online co-op survival horror game by the name of Finding Bigfoot. The game quickly picked up some brief attention from the media thanks to content creators such as Markiplier, and in turn, the developers quickly began laying out a roadmap for future plans for the title. In the following month, Cyberlight would go on to release 6 subsequent patch updates, quickly making major gameplay-affecting reworks such as bug fixing the Bigfoot AI, improving the usefulness of several in-game items, and addressing the in-game optimization. So, what went wrong? The next blog post wouldn't arrive until March 16th, with the prior 2 weeks being radio silence between the developer and the community. While breaks in between game updates are to be expected with any game, this blog post did not accompany any new downloadable game update, but highlighted a more broad roadmap for future development. Included were promises of future changes and additions such as a save mechanic allowing players to save single-player and multiplayer games and continue games at their own will. A new game menu, complete with a full rework of the menu UI, a game chat in both the game and in the lobby, cooperative mode for up to 4 players, whereas before it was only 2 players and I believe they extended it to 3 players. New species of animals. In the game there is only one type of animal I believe that you can run into in the woods, and I believe that is a deer. And finally, new weapons. Along with this was also promised a all-new winter-themed map, with a promised ETA of 1 to 2 months. The post was written on March 16th, 2017. It is now the end of April 2018, and the update has still yet to release. Exactly a month following this, on April 16th, 2017, the Finding Bigfoot team announced that they would be changing the name of the game due to a legal conflict with the Discovery Channel, whose TV show had a similar title. Cyberlight announced that they would be rebranding the game as the Bigfoot Finders. I'm sorry, I've got to pause here, but the whole point of changing the Finding Bigfoot name was to change it to something that sounded remarkably unlike what Discovery was harassing you about. You basically just moved some letters around and patted yourself on the back of the head for a job well done. But I digress. Anyway, this brilliant reversal of theirs lasted all of 2 days when a new blog post came out announcing that, surprise surprise, they would be renaming the game again, but this time they would let the community suggest names for the game. 2 days later, after this post, I'm starting to notice a trend here, they posted announcing that the game would be renamed to just Bigfoot. About 2 weeks go by, and on May 1st, 2017, the team posted another development update, sharing a GIF or GIF, whatever you want to call it. I mean, honestly, I think we're arguing the semantics at this point, of Bigfoot's new winter-themed skin, modeled after the abominable snowman, with the new winter map in the background. The team redundantly announced that the features announced almost 2 months prior were now in active development and significant progress was being made, but development would require another 1 to 2 month delay in order to complete. Now, okay, annoying but fine. Generally it's a bad idea to say in one post that you would be releasing a update in 1 to 2 months, then follow that up a month or 2 later by announcing the same delay that you just did 2 months ago. But hey, game development is tricky and sometimes delays are necessary in order to make sure the final product is as feature complete as possible. So, okay. The following post wouldn't be released for roughly another 6 weeks, with every subsequent post being released every 2 to 4 weeks following that, until October 29th, 2017, at which point post scheduling went from roughly every 2 to 4 weeks to roughly every 4 to 6 weeks, with each post highlighting very promising improvements, except no longer commentating on when said update would release. So let's pause there and break this down. The game, Finding Bigfoot, was originally released on January 30th, 2017. Game updates were regularly released over the following month of February. On March 16th, 2017, the developers announced a new major update with an expected release window of April or May 2017. 1 month later, on April 16th, the team is forced to change the game title, fearing potential legal blowback from the Discovery Channel. From April 2017 through the following year, April 2018, the team would go on to post sporadic new development updates on the official Steam blog, as the promised new update continues to be put on hold indefinitely. Based off these facts, one could reasonably argue in favor of Cyberlight, citing how Bigfoot's status as a Steam Early Access title provides the development studio a fair amount of flexibility in regards to content updates. Steam Early Access titles are supposed to maintain an open dialogue with their consumers and work productively with those consumers to ensure that the game has every opportunity of one day reaching its full potential and leaving the Steam Early Access program as a complete game. However, we're just scratching the surface. In August 2017, hundreds of users, including myself, woke up one day to find that our copies of Bigfoot had disappeared from our Steam libraries with no clear explanation or communication from the developers. Annoyed and confused, I turned to the game's Steam discussion forums and found that many of our users were experiencing the exact same issue. Criticisms and anger was directed at the dev team for their lack of communication, but just as quickly as the criticisms went up, I noticed something a bit interesting. In one sweeping move, one or more of the Cyberlight team began manually deleting community-created forum posts in massive numbers. Now, initially I thought my post was deleted by mistake. I didn't feel as if anything I said was inherently hateful or otherwise untrue, so I reposted my initial discussion post, only to be met with a permanent ban from a moderator with no reason given. And I was not the only one. Several people I'd met on the forums soon reached out to me, saying how they likewise had their content removed and were being permabanned by the developers. About a day later, one of the Cyberlight staff members reached out to me and apologized for their team's actions, offering me a new key for the game, and for a while everything was fine. But then, a day or two after that, the same staff member began filling up my DMs, demanding to know why a friend of mine, one of the fellow community members who had reached out to me, had left a negative review of their game. The staff member angrily bragged to me how, upon seeing the negative review, he did the responsible adult thing to do and simply revoked my friend's Steam key for the game, and then threatened to ban my key for the game as well, because I was friends over Steam with the person who had posted the review. The implication being that I could try to keep my copy of the game if I got my friend to take down his negative review of the game in exchange for the privilege, if you could call it that, of keeping my Steam key. As someone who likes to think of himself as an ethical person, by and large, I turned down their offer and had my game copy promptly taken away from me again. I posted a review on the game's Steam page slamming the developers for acting in bad faith, delivering a subpar in-game experience, and acting like a mafia don, threatening to punish me if I don't abide by their childish demands. I say mafia because it reminded me of the whole scene from The Godfather where it's like, you do this thing for me, I do this thing for you. In this case, that would be you deliver me good positive reviews and take down the old bad ones, and I give you back this copy of the game. The irony is that, sure, when it comes down to it, when it comes to key distribution, the game's developer and or publisher hold the full rights to revoke Steam keys at their own discretion. They don't owe anyone access to the game other than people who buy the game directly from Steam. But see, the thing is, the keys didn't exactly manifest themselves from midair. Steam keys, for those of you unfamiliar with the term, are free licenses given from a developer or publisher, allowing users to redeem Steam copies of games or other specified software on the Steam platform. Game developers, especially small ones, generally distribute hundreds or even thousands of Steam keys ahead of or following the release of their game, in order to build up a player base in time for launch and allow content creators to record or stream gameplay in order to get the game attention on sites like YouTube and Twitch, raising the potential sales of their game on the Steam storefront. Cyberlight decided to send out hundreds if not thousands of Steam keys in order to attract a player base to check out their Bigfoot game, and for several months allowed the community to grow and evolve, in large part thanks to the new users brought in by the Steam keys they gave out. Cyberlight banned users en masse, claiming that they were simply revoking keys obtained by third-party Steam key distributors. Yet that, to quote the memorable words of our current sitting president, is simply alternate facts, as what they conveniently leave out of the equation is that they are only beginning to take action and revoke keys after users began vocally criticizing and demeaning the game, thus causing the game user review score to be driven down, thus devaluing the monetary value of the game. As I just inferred, the reasoning for this is pretty simple. While revoking keys of active users would cause some momentary blowback from said users, revoking all distributed keys would limit the damage by reducing the number of angry players from third-party sources. For users that spoke highly of the game and were considered positive and productive members of the community, Cyberlight worked with them to remedy the problem by providing them and their friends new Steam keys, with the understanding that said users and friends would boost up the game's user review score and make up for the negativity that the game had built up until this point. I'm not normally much of a conspiracy theorist, but my repeated interactions with the Mafia-like Cyberlight staff member, along with reports from several of my Steam friends, have slightly changed my stance on that in regards to this game. I've seen my fair share of shady Steam developers, and Cyberlight is far from the worst I've seen in my decade-long experience here on the Steam platform. But they, in my mind, will forever stand out as the ultimate example of how not to engage with your community. That said, setting aside Cyberlight's corrupt, misguided efforts at policing their community in order to bribe positive user-generated reviews, while at the same time stifling and hiding from negative reviews, I'm not necessarily rooting for their game to fail. I hope that one day Cyberlight learns from their many mistakes and makes a public effort to once again begin communicating productively with their community, and I hope that someday they release this big update they've been working on for the last 13 months. But for now, this game, like Bigfoot himself, should stay forever lost in the woods, untouched by mankind. $15.99 for this game? No, I wouldn't touch it. Not even if the alternative was having to face Bigfoot himself. Well, that's it for this video. My brain can process only so much stupidity for one day, so for the sake of my continued sanity, please do make sure to give this video a like and tell me in the comments below, what do you think of Bigfoot and the team over at Cyberlight? I personally find them detestable in person, but I do hope that they learn from this experience and they become better people for it. However, I'm not going to hold out hope that actually becomes a reality anytime soon. So on that note, that's it. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell, and I'll see you all again soon. This is Warrior Dan signing out. Stay awesome, everybody, and peace out.